Okay, in this video, we're going to use Excel to calculate future value. That's the future value of a single amount, and we'll also be able to calculate future value of annuities, both ordinary annuities and annuities due. So let's get started. We'll put in N for the number of periods, which is usually years, I percentage, which is the interest rate per period. Present value is the amount that's in the account now, or we're going to put it in the account now. Payments, the annual payment that's going into the account, given it is an annuity that we're looking at. And then the payment type, this is where we're going to tell Excel, in Excel's own way, whether it's an ordinary annuity or annuity due. Then I skipped a few lines and I put future value. That's what we're going to solve for. And I'll come up here and double click between the A and B columns with the left button on the mouse to widen that a little bit. Now future value fits in there a lot better. And maybe I'll highlight this. This is the input data, and then the answer is going to show up here. And maybe I'll dress it up a little bit. I'll go to Merge and Center, and I'll put in future value. So I have a little title on my spreadsheet. Maybe make that bold. Make the font a little bigger. And there you go. So let's do one of these. Let's say that we're going to invest for 19 years at 7.5%. We have $9,000 in the account right now, and we're going to invest $950 more per year over the 19 years. And then we have the payment type. And the payment type is either an ordinary annuity or annuity due. We need to let Excel know. And this is what Excel will do. If you put a 0 here, it's an ordinary annuity. In other words, these $19,950 payments are each occurring at the end of the year. If you put any other number in there, 1, 2, 4, whatever it is, if you put any other number in there, Excel is going to consider these payments to follow the pattern of an annuity due. And so I want to remind myself of that when I'm using the spreadsheet or when I pass it off and somebody else is using the spreadsheet. So I'll use an if-then-else statement here to alert the user as to whether Excel is acknowledging this as an ordinary annuity or annuity due. So equals if, open parentheses, if this cell here, B7, equals 0, it's an ordinary annuity. Close the quotations, put in a comma. Otherwise, it's an annuity due. Okay. So if I put in another number here, Excel will acknowledge it as an annuity due. I'll put in a 0, so we're using an ordinary annuity. Now, let's use Excel's function, future value function, to solve this problem. So I'm going to put in equals FV, open parentheses. Once you do that, this shows up. It calls for the rate. The rate's right here. Put in a comma. It calls for the number of periods. That's right here. Put in a comma. It calls for the payment. That's right here. Put in a comma. It calls for the present value. That's right here. Put in a comma. And then it calls in the type. And that's where it acknowledges a 0 as an ordinary annuity and any other value besides 0, an annuity due. Close parentheses. And so what this is, and then I'm going to highlight these two and hit the $sign. That makes the spreadsheet look better. So what do we see here is that if you have 19 years to go on an investment at 7.5% interest per year, and there's already $9,000 in there, and you're going to put $950 more a year in there each year, and you're going to do that at the end of each year, this is the amount of money you'll have in 19 years. That's the future value of the $9,000 that's in there right now and the $19,950 payments that are going to go in over the next 19 years, each payment going in at the end of the year. Now, let's say it's a annuity due. I should get a higher number, right? Because each payment's going to get an extra year's worth of interest. And yes, the future value indeed is higher. Now, you could save this and close it, come back later at some point in time, and say, well, now I need to know the future value of a single amount. I'm going to invest for 25 years at 3%. I'm going to invest $30,000, and there are no payments. It's the future value of a single amount. Well, that's the answer. And notice it doesn't matter when there's no payment. It doesn't matter whether it's an ordinary annuity or annuity due. In other words, the answer doesn't change whether it's an ordinary annuity or annuity due. It shouldn't change. The payment is zero. Another thing we might ask is we just have an annuity. There is no present value. We're just going to invest. Let's say that you graduate college and you're going to work for 45 years until you're 67 years old, which is the normal Social Security retirement age. And you're going to invest, $8,000 a year. And you want to know how much money you'll have in the future. You would probably invest it better than 3%, at least I hope. Let's say you get 9.5%. Look at that. It's so much money that you have to come up here and double click. When you see all those pound signs, it means that the number doesn't fit in the column. So you'd come up here and double click. You'd have 5,383,000. And then maybe you think, well, you know what? I already have money in my 401k plan because maybe you worked there 2 years part-time as a student, and you already have $8,200 in your plan. Now you could see how that will affect your final answer. In other words, you have $8,200 in there already. You're going to put in $8,000 a year. You're going to follow the pattern here. I have it set as annuity due. Maybe set as ordinary annuity. And you see what you end up with at retirement. So this spreadsheet can be used for many future value problems. And this concludes the video on future value.